Yeah, so thank you for the lovely introduction, Faye. Indeed, what we're building here, what we're presenting today with the impact measurement system is, I believe, something that should resonate with everyone. We're all here thanks to uh, visionary thinkers and doers, and we talk a lot around how to build a better world, how to build better systems, and anyone that's gone through Project Catalyst knows that uh, we're here to bring it to life, right? To do it for real. And anyone who's filled out one of those forms knows that there's a question that asks about impact. So we should all be familiar with the word impact, but what do we actually mean, and what does it actually look like, and how is that any different to so-called legacy systems? So yeah, if you just bear with us, we'll give you some insights to our perspective on that and what we've been building. I'd love to hand it over to Tio, who I've been working with now for I think a couple of years now. It's been quite the journey, and yeah, just to introduce what we're presenting today.
Yeah, thank you, Raz. I will just give like a brief introduction to the impact story and the impact terminology because currently I'm working in UNDP. I'm the impact expert, but I worked like last 20, 25 years in different sectors from civil society to the private one. And I was in touch with a lot of impact ventures, impact investors, with that impact ecosystem. And I noticed that there is a lot of misunderstanding what basically impact is and why it's important to have it in the discussions. So I don't know, Raz, you are managing the slides, right? So don't fall asleep. Go to the next slide. So when we are talking about the impact, I think it's really important to have a couple of facts in mind, right? The first of all, I don't know if you read the book Net Positive, published a couple of years ago. If not, read it. It really has a couple of blood-minding, facts in it. Which somehow is representing what we are on that earth and basically how small we are. So, what we know from the past last couple of decades is that our planet is limited, right? So we have resources, what we have resources, we cannot have it more. And definitely there is a bunch of people that are having wealth in their hands, while 99% of the people are still struggling to survive the days. On that slide, I don't know why it's just cut it on half, but we can see that out of nine categories that are continuously monitored last 2 decades, starting from the climate change to the biosphere and stratosphere, etc., etc., now we have six critical ones. Like every 6 or 7 years, we are just progressing, which basically means that in 5 years, we will have everything red. That means that oceans will be done. That means that basically the oxygens that we are breathing, the aerosol, etc., will be gone. We have 5 years basically where we can still think how our business is designed and how we are doing the business on any level, being like a project catalyst of fund, being startup, being support organization, whatever it is. This is the chart of the Club of Rome, where basically they showed that, industrial progress and the outputs and the population growth and food demand, etc., basically are starting declining because we don't have resources and we have a polluted earth. So every action that we are doing in our daily lives and every action that we are doing with our businesses basically directly contributes to that decline, which will basically lead to the lower population, less food available for people, and pollution will grow. Maybe we can go to the next slides. So what we need to, yeah, this is just the same thing. What we need to do here. The only thing what we can do is change our mindset. So this is something that was the baseline approach when we started doing this initiative. How Cardano community is thinking, how builders and developers are thinking, how they are seeing the initiatives that they are developing. What is the starting point? This is the funny thing on the slide, Earth Overshoot Day. I don't know if you heard this, but July 24th this year, we spent all of the resources that were available for the population on the Earth. So basically now we are using something that was basically here for next generations. And I think on next slides we see the progress. Since the Earth Overshoot Day is celebrated every year, we see that that things are moving more to the 1st January. So now we are at the half of the year using the resources, which basically means in our lives in 60 years, basically we spent or we are spending now the resources that are somehow foreseen for my kids and kids of my kids. And this will not happen because we'll not have enough resources. So we need to change the mindset. We need to change the way how we are thinking, designing, implementing, doing initiatives, businesses, projects, managing the organizations. And we need to do the hard shift here. Maybe you can go, Raz, to next slide now as well. So I see that there is a lot of washing happening. Within this project, I personally read more than 300 applications and projects and proposals within the Project Catalyst from Fund 4 till Fund 13. And there is a lot of claiming happening. We will do that. There's a lot of over-promising. There is a lot of non-understanding, what basically output and outcome and impact means. I think this is important to say directly and openly. We are the same if we are having this kind of approach, like big green washers, ESG washers, impact washers, big companies like multi-corporates, banks, financial institutions, etc., etc. Because our responsibility, social and economic responsibility, is to understand what are result-based management and design, and how basically the impact should be integrative part of the work that we are doing. So the last slide I think that I have is the research that was done in 2019 and 2024. You see a lot of claiming is happening in the companies, and the same thing I witnessed also in the Project Catalyst through the projects that were financed. So we need to stop claiming that we are that we are aligned with the SDGs, that we are aligned with the impact goals. There is no alignment. We have metrics. We need to measure. We need to put numbers behind our words, right? So that's why we designed impact measurement system, where basically, we had a different approach to the problem that we are facing, not only from, Project Catalyst, but also there is a huge spectrum of civil society organizations, development organizations that don't have proper impact management system in place. And really important to point out, impact management system is not about just measuring and reporting. Impact management system is helping you in designing the initiatives, in thinking how your idea will turn to the solution, because this is the beginning of your impact journey anyway. So maybe Raz, over to you to explain a little bit what we did in the last couple of months.
Thank you, Tio. Yeah, talking about solution, I'd like to present our solution. So introducing to you the impact measurement system. Firstly, I'd also like to acknowledge Cole, who has been pivotal in leading the build of our MVP. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, but his work has been central to what we're sharing today. So IMS is a Catalyst-enabled MVP. And today, projects can self-report through lightweight forms. They're designed to take 30 minutes or less. The data is stored and processed currently in our demo environment, so not yet on chain. And we have dashboards to visualize the results. And yes, we're cognizant of the current systems that we're working within, right? So we talk about the frameworks such as the UN SDGs, and as Tio was mentioning, moving beyond alignment, but backing it up with actual numbers and data. So here's a snapshot of our homepage, which you can visit at ims.impactweb3.com. So if you have a project, you can actually log in, create an account, and submit your data, which, as I've explained, is processed in our demo environment, and the dashboards would bring it to life. And because transparency matters, the code is open source on GitHub. as you can see here. So you can go into GitHub and have a look around and play around. And later on, we're going to invite everyone to be part of this journey with us. This is definitely something that cannot be achieved by just one team, by just one community.
There's also some really good questions coming up, Theo, while Raz is maybe figuring it out. There's somebody asking around some regulatory standards and whatnot. It's pretty interesting. It has come up very frequently as of recent as well when you start talking about like institutional adoption and how do you align those institutional requirements with regards to reporting of this sort.
Yeah, so basically the IMS that we have built is still MVP, but it's integrating all of the existing methodologies that we have, Iris Plus, B Corp, etc. Of course, this is not certified impact report that we are doing. It's still in the development, but definitely we are trying to be aligned with all of the regulatory standards, especially when we will come to the product phase. It will be fully integrated with all of the existing methodologies and the reporting standards.
Awesome, thank you. Well, Raz is back in business as well, so over to you.
Thank you, Tia. Thank you, Danny. So there's been a lot of talk as well around different platforms, different tools, infrastructure, and just want to make it clear that we're building this with the mindset of not building a black box. It's a commons that anyone can use and improve, and as Theo explained, we're at MVP stage here, thanks to Catalyst and our supporters. The key benefits though, of what we're building here are clear. So transparency, shared open standards, trust, outcomes that can be verified once anchored, which is where we're moving towards with anchoring data on chain on Cardano. Adoption, adaptable across regions and cultures, and collaboration. So connecting Cardano projects with, for instance, NGOs, DAOs, institutions across Web3 and beyond, right, across the world. So thinking to zoom out from that, what we're actually talking about here is weaving a fabric of trust, from local pilots to global systems. This is the architecture that we need to actually shift away from, as Theo was illustrating with the graphs and charts earlier, impending doom, and something that we can, perhaps look back on and feel we did it. We actually did it. Just want to hand it over to you, Theo, for the next slides.
Yeah. So what we are seeing, as I said, I'm really into the impact business for many years now. There is a growing demand for impact measurement systems that are somehow also self-reflecting and can be used alone by the organization, because impact certification is really expensive. I don't know if you had any experience with Iris or B Corp or SRI, etc., doing this kind of the verifications, especially for the startups. it counts in thousands of USD, right? So it's really hard to put these numbers into the business models of the organizations. What we can see here is basically that that opportunity is really significant. Billions in grants management and ESG reporting. Somehow we are focusing, also to expand the IMS beyond the Cardano ecosystem, especially to the stakeholders of the Cardano ecosystem, being working with NGOs or UN agencies, development organizations, or grassroots movements, etc., etc. But I think for Cardano, this is now really the chance how we can that blockchain is not speculation, or it's more than speculation. I really think that all of the initiatives that are somehow spotlighted for the Cardano ecosystem should have like a great framework and proofs of the achievements that can be communicated. Connected to this, we are also seeing that in the pipeline and also developing the product. We will have interactions with UNDP SDG Blockchain Accelerator, where we have 20 Cardano startups and businesses rolling out the new initiatives with the UNDP country offices, and this will also help us, in order to build the perfect solution for the Cardano ecosystem. Next slide. Yeah, basically I explained this, so maybe you can move Raz forward with the new slides.
Thank you, Theo. Just to touch on governance and ethics. So talking a lot around measurements, but measurement without governance can become dangerous. It can turn into just another compliance tool, an expensive one as well. Which is why under Impact Web 3, we've been co-developing the Human Rights DAO pilot, which is also a Catalyst-funded project, with colleagues at Amnesty International, Gareth, based in New Zealand. It's an ongoing pilot and designed to ensure that impact data is managed responsibly. So with that being said, our design is structured to have council structures for oversight, regional nodes to reflect cultural and language justice, ZK ID privacy safeguards to protect sensitive actors, and human first checks, for example, a 3-to-1 human to AI oversight ratio. We're also exploring Midnight's privacy functionality as part of this. So once it goes live on mainnet, we'll be able to explore the integration. So IMS essentially is providing the measurement layer, while HRDAO pilots the governance layer, and together they form part of a solidarity infrastructure with technology, ethics, and culture woven together. Over to you, Theo.
Yeah, maybe we can go fast through these 4 slides. Basically, here we are showing what we did last couple of months and how we moved from the phase to the phase. So right now, we are exploring AI integration. This is something that we are looking forward to see, with Patrick from Asumi or SingularityNet, how we can jointly advance the product, and then we will go to the main deployment of Cardano, and we will see how we can also have cross-chain integrations. We're already discussing with a couple of other chains. They are really interested to see this Cardano product used also by their solution makers from their ecosystem. So in next year, basically 2026, we are aiming to as I said, have that mainnet launch, but then we'd like to see also regional pilots and some kind of the enterprise rollouts happening. And like I said, we are really motivated and interested to fully develop this product till the end. But we will need, your support. Maybe this is something that will come to the end, but I will continuously ask you, please help us, because without you being tester, we cannot really advance to the product level. Raz, over to you.
Thank you. And in that spirit of support and building this together, And to make this real for Catalyst and Cardano, and practical and ready for any team to use, we've submitted a Fund 14 proposal in the Cardano Open Developers category. It's called Cardano Impact Dev Kit, Attestations and Governance, SDK CLI. So our intention here is the dev kit would provide packages of drop-in templates, schemas, and an SDK CLI for attestations and lightweight governance. So projects can essentially add verifiable impact without reinventing the wheel, and working in silos, and potentially avoid a lot of costs in the process. So this would be a public good, right? Saving weeks of work, thousands of dollars, strengthening governance and aligning with CIP 1694, which is Cardano's on-chain governance standard. It's designed to be bridge friendly, so you would include adapters and examples to help builders from other ecosystems on-ramp into Cardano quickly. Now, it's 2025. I've been to a number of events which are attended by different builders across Web3, and still there's a mindset that building in Cardano with the Cardano tech stack is a barrier. It's too hard. It's too complicated. These are a lot of out-of-date notions. But with that being said, having looked at what's actually available in terms of the libraries and what's available in terms of open source tooling, and zooming out and looking at what's actually at stake here with what we've said about the current situation with the planet and with humanity, I think it's important to see how we can connect the dots and provide tools that can accelerate builders and visionary people who actually are on the front lines and want to solve these problems, but maybe cost is a barrier, or FUD is a barrier because they've heard things that are out of date and not actually the true nature of things, of what's available. So it's in that spirit that we're making this proposal to bring these type of tools to all builders everywhere, to be part of this common mission. Just to illustrate that in a bit more of a simpler terms, so if you think of it as, we don't have any real standards here. It's all kind of scattered around and fragmented, and what we'd be proposing is to bring that together in a coherent way so people can just plug and play and take things down into their projects, their pilots, and make it reusable, right, across different sectors and different industries. Of course, it's going to have immense value to the Cardano ecosystem and beyond. And I invite all of you who's interested to read our proposal. It's going through a community review right now, so I'm sure we'll have more time for that. And if anyone has questions as well in the Q&A. So yeah, our ask, join the impact revolution. I don't use these words lightly. It really does call for a revolution. We don't need more of the same, unless, of course, you're all about preserving what is considered inequitable. But that's a different debate, a different discussion. And I think it's where Theo was saying, we need a mindset shift. I was just watching a video earlier and talk about different cultures around the world. And there's a growing consensus around the recognition that, individualism has led us so far. And at some point, and we have enough evidence to fill libraries across the world and volumes, endless volumes, about how working together in collectives and coming together for common purpose, common goals drives us all into a better direction. So yeah, with transparency, with data and verification, and making it truly inclusive and open, so everyone actually has a real seat at this table and not just a tokenized seat, a token image of participation without real power and influence. Yeah, we're just going to be kind of doing more of the same. So this is one of the reasons I joined the Cardano community and the Web3 movement, because I believe it's got a real shot at making a difference. And others are waking up to that one at a time, bit by bit. And yeah, we can't do it alone, like I said. So really the invitation's there for anyone who watches this video, who hears this call, get in touch. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I see a couple of questions already in the chat, so maybe we can just quickly answer them as we spent a little bit more time than designated for the presentation. I see that Ben is asking, how do you go about the fact that impact may only occur years down the line after the project finished? So what really is measurable or outputs outcomes rather than impact? So this is not really like it is. When we are talking about the impact, we have like three categories of the impact. Usually we are using this ABC classification. So A is with our intentions, with our businesses, we can avoid the harm, doing bad things. We can stop doing bad things. So in terms of the transportation energy that we are using, outputs that we have in the production, etc., etc. So each of us can do, something significantly more impactful for the environment, society, and stop doing harm. This is the first level of the impact. Immediate action, immediate impact. The second level is benefit to some of the impact groups, right? So if you're working or designing some solution for some of the impact groups, that can be, marginalized groups, unbanked people, whatever it is, people without a digital identity, etc., etc. You can easily measure, how many through the, of course, outputs, how many participants basically you had, and then you can easily measure also the outcomes and translate them to the impacts. That's why our system is somehow designed in a level that automatically, also with the help of AI, we can translate your outputs and outcomes to the impacts, being benchmarked with the IRIS standards and benchmarking indicators, or with SDGs, or this will be your choice. And the last level of the impact, or in the classification, is basically contribution to the solution, innovation. And I agree here. Basically, we need longer period of time to develop the solution, to test the solution, to employ the solution, to see what are the effects of using the solution in the medium or short or long period of the time. But this is, of course, most impactful initiative that we can undertake. So to conclude, we have initiatives and projects where impact is measurable at the same time where action is happening, while of course we can also have the initiatives where we need more time to measure it. That's why our IMS system is designed in a way that you have the profile. So you're starting with entering your baseline indicators, and then through the phases you can always choose when you are reporting phase 1, phase 2, or you can choose the quarter when you are reporting. You can see also the progress of your contributions or direct impact that you will have. The second question is related to SDGs. Yeah, of course, they are outdated, and we are not really be able to achieve them till 2030. But the same happened also with the previous Millennium Goals, right? I still think that it's really valuable to think in a way what our contribution could be to this. I think I mentioned already a couple of times in different discussions. For example, UNDP has the moonshots, which are fully connected with the SDGs, which basically means if we have 800 million people without the proper digital identity in place, and they cannot participate in the voting system, healthcare system, educational systems, etc., then we can measure our contribution with our digital identity solution. And that contribution being 0.1% is significant on the macro level, right? So we will not achieve that, there will be no people on the planet without the identity, but definitely we can aim, to have less people without the proper identity in place, and having all of the civic and government and public and private services acceptable to them. Yeah.